Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to Everyday Superpower, and today, guess what we're going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about body language and nonverbal communication once again. We're going to be laying it out nice and simple from A to B, tell you how to identify and understand body language and nonverbal gestures, and how to essentially read the minds of others around you, as well as yourself and the signals you send out on an unconscious basis. So if you like what you hear, click like, click subscribe, leave a comment. Listen to me yawn. Maybe yawn yourself in response in sort of a mirror communication that lets me know you're receptive. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So today we're talking about illustrating, not with a pen, but with our hands, okay? So when we wiggle our hands about and wave to sort of accentuate and sort of drill in what we're saying, like you'll see good public speakers do so, and so on and so forth. This is what we call illustrating, okay? So we use hand gestures, big, vivid, broad brushes of the hand and so on and so forth to paint an image. So what we talked about in the last lesson, or one of the last lessons, was choosing between A and B. When an individual gives you a choice and now gives you to choose from option A or option B, and they will put their hand out to represent that, that's a form of illustrating, okay? When somebody nails something, all right, nails a point, when they punch the fist into their hands aggressively to really accentuate what they're trying to say, that's an illustrator. And by the way, I wouldn't recommend that because that makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like to see fists when you're explaining something. It's a bit hyper masculine. It's a bit too aggressive for me, okay? So here we go. When gestures are used, right, when talking, it improves recall and it grabs attention. Why does it grab attention? Now we're taking it back to one of our early videos as to why it grabs attention. Because the way to grab attention is to move, alright? Movement grabs attention. We have a part in our brain which is triggered by any degree of movement to varying extents, okay? Purely for survival mechanism, alright? So we don't want to die. Our brain doesn't want us to die. So we'll pay close attention to that which moves fast, that which moves towards us, and that which moves in general, okay? Perhaps we'll be picking it up on a peripheral subconscious basis, but movement attracts attention, alright? So it increases the impact of the communication, and as a byproduct, helps individuals retain more of the information they're hearing, alright? So I could sit here with my arms closed, right, and say, oh, body language is interesting. Or I can say body language is interesting. Of course, I've accentuated it with my verbal, but that verbal was actually parallel with the gestures I was making with my hands. So not only visually is it important, but for the emphasis we create through the bundled energy we're now releasing through these gestures, it's very important, okay? It goes hand in hand, right? Mind the pun. So, there's been varying tests done. A narrator using hand gestures, such as moving hands up and down quickly to show running, a waving movement to demonstrate hairdryer, and arms wide apart to show a fat opera singer. When the listeners were tested 10 minutes later, those whom had seen the gestures had up to a third higher response when recalling them details of the stories, alright? Demonstrating the dramatic effect hand gestures have on our recall ability, alright? There you go. That was a test that had been done, a scientific, test as to how people can recall information that's been provided to them in accompaniment of the illustration, alright? We've spoken about the hands and what the palm of the hand represents, whereas the palm facing down represents the power and submissive. And I'll tell you what, there's one person in particular, if you are interested in this, I read a book quite a while back now, so I don't remember his name, but I'm going to have a quick search for it. Now, if you're interested in public speaking, which I might do a few videos on, a person did a very good book on it, and he had a completely different approach as far as nonverbal communication is to anything I've ever read before. So don't get me wrong, it might be crap in all fairness, but he's an eccentric character, and you'll see him on the TV every once in a while, especially if you're based in America. Alright, so he's called Mark Bowden, alright? He did a book called Winning Body Language. Control the conversation, command attention, and convey the right message without saying a word. So that's interesting if you want to learn about public speaking and being able to communicate efficiently through the symbols of the hands and whatnot. And that's about it, really. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click like, click subscribe. Start throwing a few illustrators in. When it comes to the illustrator, I always bounce off to another point as I'm trying to close it down. Regarding illustrators, yeah, it shows you're confident and cool and willing to take the pressure of being under attention as well. Because somebody who's shook isn't going to be creating movement. They're going to be in a defensive position where they're just really strict and stiff, alright? So the movement also creates a benefit to you as an individual, as a dominant individual who has a great point to put across, alright? So without further ado, click like, click subscribe, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. One love, people.